I'm a 19-year-old female student in my second year of college. Because of what she did to me, I can no longer consider my classmate to be a friend. Shea, to give her name. Since our first week of college, she and I have been friends. We used to hang out, host sleepovers at each other's homes, and we were intimately familiar with each other's lives. We always got along since we had similar tastes in movies and video games. Another thing we had in common was our competitive nature. Shea and I were naturally fierce competitors. We both encouraged each other to work hard in our studies, thus it worked to our advantage that first year. Shea placed third in the class during my first semester in college, while I placed first. I was content to be in the top 5 and didn't really care that I was behind her. Shea, however, did not enjoy being in the back of the class behind 2 other children. She vowed to be the best the following semester. She fell even further behind and received the 4th rank in the second semester, while I received the 6th. We both agreed to put in a lot of effort this time around because I was a little disappointed because I wanted to be among the top 5. Thus, our slumber movie night became a study night in the second year. We moved our hangout from a cafe to a library, where we mostly talked about our studies. I understand that it will take some time, but the information is necessary to identify the type of circumstance I'm in. She was devastated and astonished to learn the results of the 3rd semester. Chase took 3rd place, while I came in 2nd. She was discouraged for 2 reasons. First, she didn't finish first in the class, and second, her rank was lower than mine. She cut off all contact with me. I assumed her anger stemmed from the fact she didn't place first in the class. Every time the results were revealed, she grieved over them almost as a ritual. I decided to let her alone as I knew she would get over it in a few days. Shea did not speak with me this time though, even though it had been about a week since the outcome. She didn't respond to my text or phone call during that period, when the college was closed, but she was hanging out with other people whose experiences I had read about. I realize this sounds naive, but in our 1.5 years of dating, Shea and I have never treated each other in this way. She didn't even invite me to go out this time, even though we usually go out together. Usually, we only opt to go out with others when one of us is busy. She was actually ignoring me. I made contact with the buddy who shared a photo of herself with Shea in the cafe. Shea had been upset with the outcome, she told me. The fact that I scored more than her depresses her even more. I didn't indulge further since I believed that this friend was only attempting to put distance between us by talking negatively of Shea. The session has resumed 2 weeks following the findings. Shea was seated next to Tom, the class topper, as I walked into the room. Since the first semester, he has consistently been the top student in the class. She gave me a straight face as I waved and smiled at her. I went to sit by myself on another bench. She was clearly trying to avoid contact with me. I began to realize gradually that my other friend might have been telling the truth. Even in the first semester, she only managed a 3rd rank, but she remained close to me, so it was clear that she was upset that I had a higher rank than she had. For a few days, I felt horrible as I thought of Shea as my best friend and I never put rivalry between us. For the first 2 semesters, I lagged behind her in rank, yet I never harbored resentment against her. She destroyed our friendship for the sake of a few marks, and I'm just furious at her immaturity. Rumors fly more quickly in a college than anywhere else. Everyone observed that Shea and I were sitting apart and avoiding each other after a few days. Individuals were ready to concoct a theory that blamed the outcome. Shea's competitive nature was well known, and she was known to pout for days following each semester's results. Some of my students approached me to talk about Shea. Well, everyone loves to gossip. However, I disregarded it. I did not want to add to the rumors. Shea and I made a concerted effort to keep our distance from one another, as I eventually moved on and began hanging out with other pals. We had a professor in our 4th semester who was a friend of my older cousin. It wasn't until he walked into our class that day that I learned of it. Having recently enrolled in the college, he recognized me in the class right away and approached me. You know how students are. He was young and attractive, so while he was talking to me, all eyes were on me. Most of the kids came up to me after class and asked whether I knew him. I informed him that we knew each other because he was my cousin's buddy and had also been to my cousin's wedding. We didn't talk again after that initial exchange in class. I acted like a typical student, and he was just a professor. My classmates also moved on after exchanging a few winks and smiles for a few days. However, Shea is the one who is unwilling to let go of the past. Rumors that the professor and I are dating have been circulated by her. She continued by saying that she had witnessed our relationship developing in the college library. The heights of misinformation. It had gotten to the teacher's staff room, which is where I had ignored it until now. I said to the lecturer yesterday after class that I needed to get some more questions answered. He became irate and told me that there should be an answer to every question in class and that he would not be answering any of my questions on my own. I was taken aback by his abrupt demeanor. He has been avoiding me for the past 3 days, I realized. I assume he's heard the rumor, which is why he attempted to avoid talking to me. The problem is that I'm being psychologically traumatized and I'm tired of hearing all of this untrue rumors. She is going over and beyond to malign me. I heard her telling Tom, the highest student in the class, the other day that they would take the top 2 spots and not allow anyone else to pass. While I work hard, I'm not as driven as Shea. I don't mind dropping a few spots, but the problem is that if she gets higher grades than me, she will make fun of and tease me until I can no longer stand it. Next week is our 4th semester exam week, and I'm finding it difficult to focus on my coursework. I've become the talk of the college thanks to the rumor that I was having an affair with the lecturer. Even today, I was subtly teased by a professor to focus more on my study than on the instructors. Isn't that embarrassing? I needed somewhere to just scream about that witch. Certainly, after the tests are complete, I will take care of her. It's true what they say about friends who turn enemies. They're the most deadly of their type. You haven't really wanted to entertain gossip up until now, but if it comes up and you're talking to others, you should address the fact that it's false. It's not only hurting you, but it can hurt this professor and possibly cause him to lose his career at the same time. Don't buy into the rivalry between you and Shea. If you're going to study hard for yourself. Don't do it just to be better than someone else. Just do and be good for you. If you happen to maintain where you are or obtain a higher rank, that's your business. If that bothers Shea, that's her problem, not yours. First update. Hi all. I'm now a final year student. I'm so excited to be the senior badge of the college. I have some interesting updates, so hang in there. My second year exams are over and the results were also declared 2 weeks ago. Guess what? I was still able to hold my second rank. Tom is still the unbeatable topper. Neither do I intend to beat him, but my dearest ex-friend Shea has slipped to 4th position. If you realize how devastating it is for her. As for everyone's reports, she has been fuming with anger ever since the results were out, and she has come up with a new rumor about me, that the professor has leaked the exam questions to me beforehand, and that's how I was able to withhold my rank. She'd even gone ahead to say that I was able to pass in all the previous semesters due to the professor leaking the questions to me. She doesn't realize people have stopped taking her seriously because even rumors should be believable. The professor joined our college only at the start of our second year, but I'm a good student right from the first year of college. Our classmates are acting like media journalists, hopping from one political party to another for their comments, and then mocking them both. So, I have absolutely stopped talking about Shea. Last week, the professor messaged me saying that he was sorry for being rude to me, but he had done it to clear off the rumors spreading in the college. He also said he heard the new rumors accusing him of leaking the paper to me. I said I knew about it. He insisted that I confront Shea about this and clear off the misunderstanding because it was also hampering his reputation. I respectfully declined his request because if I ever confronted Shea about this, she would manipulate the conversation and spread that I was pleading with her not to expose my secret to anyone. I told him it was just a matter of a year when we would leave the college, and then he could have a peaceful life here. The professor said that he was not in the mood to bear any more tantrums from Shea and would complain to the dean regarding her. But before doing so, He wanted to check with me if any open-hearted conversation would help solve the matter. I said that if she was not in for it, she would blow up that conversation into another made-up story, so it is better to involve the authorities in this matter when we are not the ones who are wrong. Yesterday, the dean called for Shea in the middle of class. When the dean's assistant entered the class and asked Shea to follow him to the dean's cabin, she turned pale, and everyone smirked at each other, anticipating another wave of juicy gossip. Tom also turned red because he was Shea's new boyfriend. Oh, I forgot to mention, I also got to know, of course, from others, that Shea and Tom are dating. I mean, they are a thing. She used to call Tom at her house, asking him to teach her before the exams, and that's how they started dating each other. Some also say that she is involved with one of the junior boys. I take all this gaza with a pinch of salt, but I'm betting the second one to be false. But you never know. After returning from college, I visited my cousin, the one who was the professor's friend. I gave him the hot gossip which was going around in the college. He said that the last time he met the professor, he did tell him that something of this sort was happening. We both had a good laugh. Then my cousin called the professor and asked him what had happened in the dean's office. The professor said he would come to my cousin's house later in the evening. My cousin and I waited patiently for him to arrive and give us the juicy gossip. He came in the evening and told us how the dean had taken Shea's class. He was not present inside the cabin during the conversation, but the assistant told him everything. The dean started off by politely asking if she had any evidence of the claim she was making. She turned into denial mode, saying she didn't understand what he was saying. He asked her directly if she thought that the professor was leaking questions to me. She denied it and said that she didn't know anything about it. The dean also asked if she suspected the professor was having an unacceptable relationship with any student. She denied that too, saying that she doesn't know anything about these. She further acted that it was so strange that she was being asked these questions because she didn't know anything about it. She started crying and said she was in college only for studies and didn't get involved in stupid gossip. Still, she was being questioned like a criminal. The dean informed Shea that prior to her, a few other students were also questioned separately, but they all claimed that she was the one who had spread those rumors against the professor. She kept denying it, saying that everyone was ganging up against her as they were envious of her grades. Really funny, yeah? She was given a warning that she should not malign others' reputations in the college. I was surprised to know that all these things were happening in the college. I asked the professor if it was true that the other students were also questioned. He said yes. When he complained to the dean that Shea's rumors were killing his reputation to the extent that he was being mentally tortured, the dean took it seriously and investigated the matter. But before jumping to the conclusion, he also interrogated several students of the class and other professors. The investigation concluded that it was Shea who was spreading the rumors because she was the one envious of my grades. We all had a hearty laugh after hearing the whole ordeal. What a stupid girl she is. I'll update you if anything develops. Here's a hard lesson for Shea: if you're going to dish it out, you better be able to take the heat. Second update. Hello peeps. I'm just about to be a college graduate. My final exams are just around the corner. This year has been extremely busy and equally fun. A lot has happened during that time, but I was juggling college and my summer internship, hence I could not make an update. For the people who commented on my post that they see something popping up between the professor and me, let me tell you that he is already engaged. His fiancée knows all of these stories. In fact, after the last meet at my brother's place, we had a couple of more hangouts where his fiancée also joined us. As I informed you in my earlier post, Tom and Shea were dating. The relationship cost Tom very badly. Let's see how, 6 months after those incidents, when the results of the 5th semester came out, guess who was the topper? Me. Yes, Tom slipped to second while Shea remained at 4th. This time, there were no rumors. She had learned her lesson from the dean. Hence, she did not say a word against me. Some of our classmates did go to her seeking some new gossip, but this time she snapped at them. Aside from all of this, I have a really funny update. Our lessons have ended in order to provide us time for additional final exams. Therefore, final students will only sometimes attend the college for projects, or the library. I went to the college library 2 weeks ago to get some books. There, I met a classmate who was also there for the books, and she suggested that we go for a smoke on the terrace before we left. I don't know why we chose to go up the quiet stairs rather than the elevator, but I'm glad we did. On the 3rd floor, we heard some whispers. At first, we were both afraid and wanted to run, but then we realized that someone was having an affair. I know it's wrong, but curiosity won out and we slipped into the corner where the whispers were coming from. We weren't able to see them, but we could definitely hear them because the college was empty at the time and the echo was loud. We couldn't identify the boy's voice, but you know who the girl was? Shea. She's having sex with that junior boy, so the rumor that she was seeing one of the junior boys was accurate. It dawned on me to record them as they were having sex, and she talked about how much she missed him and how horrible Tom was in bed. When the guy asked her why she hadn't broken up with Tom, she replied that she wanted to divert his attention from his studies and was thereby idling his time. She laughed, claiming that she had even succeeded in diverting Tom's attention, so the poor guy slid to the 2nd position. After a while, we left the location. My friend attempted to enter the room again to see what they were really doing, but I stopped her. After carefully listening to the recordings multiple times, I came to the conclusion that she was dating Tom in order to divert his attention away from his studies, and she was even successful in doing so. Subsequently, I sent those recordings to Tom via a fictitious social media account. I could have done so using my real account as well, but I doubted he would have believed me, and Shea would have called it a conspiracy because everyone knew about her animosity. Tom thanked me and asked for my identity, to which I replied that I was just attempting to assist him in uncovering his evil girlfriend. A few days later, Tom shared that audio in the class group along with Shea's chat messages in which she discussed destroying Tom's career by dating that junior guy. The friend who accompanied me that day was aware that I shared the audio with Tom. Following that, Tom messaged me on that fictitious account and thanked me once more. I asked him how he learned more, and he replied that he had accessed her phone when she came to his house to study. He also mentioned that his mother had also suspected Shea was there to kill time, since she would make him do her projects and assignments, ask dumb questions, and insist on watching Netflix during study hours. If that wasn't enough, she would also insist on having long phone conversations with him and ask him to talk on the phone for hours. All of these things made Tom suspicious of Shea's motivation, as it seemed to be more concerned with tearing down others than with improving herself. Following that discovery, Tom's mother called Shea and gave her a sobering lesson about life. She also called Shea's mother and informed her of her daughter's truth. Yes, I learned all of this from Tom. He doesn't know who I really am, but I believe he is appreciative of me exposing Shea because his actions have already tarnished Shea's reputation in the college, where people view her as nothing more than a clown who is chasing people around to pull their legs. She is hated by all. Our college farewell was yesterday. It was one of the best days ever. We laughed, danced, and had the time of our lives. Except for Shea, who was the focus of most of the jokes and conversations. She was treated with cold shoulders, and some of the people who spoke to her were also trying to stuff as much gossip as possible into their remarks. It was mean, but that's just the way things work. She had dug her own grave. At the party, Tom was also extremely kind to me, even though he was unaware that I was the one who had provided the recordings. With the help of my companion, it was only a matter of time until the truth was out. No, I don't want to do anything with Tom because our personalities are so dissimilar. I'm not sure if Shea feels bad about what she did, but her self-centered, narcissistic attitude had brought her too low. She left the farewell midway, and for a little while I felt bad seeing her stand by herself while others hugged and danced. She even didn't seem to be smiling in some of the group photos. I hope graduation day brings her some peace and happiness. I know I sound like a saint, but I'm not. I know people would say I exposed her to get even with her. Maybe I did, but my real goal was to expose her to Tom, if not the entire class. I told you I'm no saint, I would never have thought to share those videos in the class group, but when Tom did notice, I did feel shyly thrilled. Anyway, good luck on my upcoming examinations, and I appreciate you listening. It's amazing the lengths people will go to in order to get ahead, or if they can't get ahead, they want to sink the ship with everyone in it. She couldn't be first, no one could. What a sad life to lead. There's nothing wrong with some healthy competition, but Shea just took it to a whole other level. Ah, yes, she was her own great demise. She just couldn't help herself, could she? It's not surprising that she dated Tom purely for her selfish, evil ways. After all, she was capable of creating such tremendous lies. The truth is that Shea will never be number one. Do you know somebody who is like Shea? Tell us about them in the comments section below. Shea got what was coming to her, and I'm grateful.